Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's Condo Review Board dated Monday, April 22nd, 2024. Pursuant to Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Condominium Review Board will be conducted via remote participation. We will post an audio recording, audio-video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of these proceedings as soon as possible following the meeting on the City of Somerville's website and local cable access government channels. On that note, if we can please conduct a roll call vote to ensure we have a quorum.
Okay. Chair Zasloff?
Present.
Vice Chair Byrne?
Present.
Board Member Champion? Board Member Champion? Board Member Champion is absent. Board Member Simeon?
Yes.
Board Member Solis? Board Member Solis is absent. With 3 in attendance, we have a quorum.
Right. And at this point with the quorum, I will now call this meeting to order. And the first item on this evening's agenda is the new business, and that it encompasses the applications for final or courtesy permits, with the first application 89 Pearson Ave. That's the application of the BC Family Trust, and they are seeking a final conversion permit for Unit 1 and 2 at 89 Pearson Ave. Do we have a representative for this application?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful. This is Cameron McGinn from the Law Office of Pressman and Kruskal, counsel for
Recording in progress.
Smith, Cody, and Amanda Hudson Beck, trustees of the BC Family Trust. We are applying for a final conversion permit. When the preliminary permit was issued, the only outstanding item was the master deed. We've completed the master deed and included it in our application, and we thank the board for their consideration.
Great, thank you very much. At this time, seeing that it's pretty straightforward, I will now make a motion for to open the floor for board discussion or questions for the applicant. Anyone on the board has any questions?
No questions.
All right.
No question.
All right, motion to close the floor for board discussion, and we will move along with a motion to open the floor for public commenting. Anyone in the virtual audience would like to speak in favor or against the application at 89 Pearson Avenue, now would be the time to do so.
I don't see any hands.
All right, the public commenting period is now closed. With this being straightforward at this point, the one outstanding item to complete the application was the master deed. And at this point, the applicant has provided that to city staff. Seeing there are no other outstanding items to complete this application, I'm prepared to move forward and make a motion for the board to conduct a roll call vote on the final conversion permits for units 1 and unit 2 located at 89 Pearson Avenue.
Okay, this is a vote for a final conversion permit for Unit 1 and 2 at 89 Pearson Avenue. Chair Zasloff?
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne?
Yes.
Board Member Simeon?
Yes.
And Chair Zasloff, I just want to note that Board Member Solis has entered the meeting. Board Member Solis, I'm not sure if you heard enough to enter it and heard enough to vote, or if you'd like to.
I did review documents. If no issues have been raised by the rest of the board, I would vote to pass if that's acceptable. Vote yes.
Okay, great.
It's fine.
With that, then the motion passes.
Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you. Moving along this evening through the agenda, the next application in front of the board for a final permit is the application of 107 Josephine Ave. Carlos Pereira, and they're seeking a final conversion permits for units 1 and 2 located at 107 Josephine Ave.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Pereira. I represent, I'm the owner, the manager, owner of 107 Josephine Ave LLC. And before I continue, can everybody hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay, beautiful. So at the last meeting that we had, we were approved for preliminary conversion permit, and the only two outstanding items were the master deed and the site condition report, which we have submitted. And we asked the board for the final conversion permit.
All right, thank you very much. On that note, I will now motion to open the floor for board discussion. If anyone has any comments or questions for the applicant?
No question.
No question.
Seeing there's no discussion or questions for the applicant, the floor for the board is now closed, and I will motion to open the floor for public commentary. If anyone in the virtual audience would like to speak in favor or against the application at 107 Josephine Avenue, now would be the time to do so.
I don't see any hands.
Public commenting is now closed for 107 Josephine Avenue. Again, straightforward application with two outstanding items that have now been submitted. And those two items were the master deed and the engineer architect report, which the city staff now has in hand and completes the application. So I would like to make a motion for the board to vote to conduct a roll call vote on the final conversion permits for units 1 and 2 located at 107 Josephine Avenue.
Okay, this is a vote for final permits for units 1 and 2 at 107 Josephine Avenue. Chair Zaslav,
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Solis.
Yes.
The motion passes.
I would like to thank the board and say good evening to everybody.
Thank you. You have a great night, Mr. Pereira.
Yep.
All right, moving through this evening's agenda, we are now on to the preliminary condo conversion permits. And the first application for review for the board this evening is the application of Beantown LLC, Julian Lewis, seeking a preliminary rental conversion permits for units 1, 2, and 3, located at 21-23 Kent Court.
Yes, good evening, board. Julian Lewis here, owner 2123 Kent Court. We at last month's meeting had discussed with the tenant of unit number 3 and the board. There was additional information that came to light that we were not privy of regarding the tenant's relocation, unit number 3. We since had several conversations with that tenant, understood the full scope of their relocation, and were able to come to an agreement with Deb Azarel and Thomas Stoddard, and we contributed and made a payment to them last week in order to help to lessen the burden that they incurred from a financial standpoint, but also an emotional one after being at the property for 40 years. And if I don't know if all the board members recall, but there was a catastrophic roof failure, and the owner the owner at the time had decided to not undergo the capital improvements required to bring the house back to habitable condition, and decided to sell the property. And so we as I said, had a couple conversations with Deb and Thomas, and were able to agree on a figure that they were happy with to help with some of the relocation costs. And so there was also a tenant from unit number 3 that we had contacted, but apparently had the wrong contact we were able to obtain the correct contact from Deb, the tenant in unit number 3, and we reached out to that tenant, did not get a response. But we also provided that contact information, updated contact information to Morena in the condo board. And happy to answer any questions. And that's where things stand as of today. We would like to move forward with a conditional conversion permit.
Great, thank
And
you.
thank the board. Yeah,
Yes,
and thank the board for their consideration. Thanks.
yes, thank you for that update, Mr. Lewis. I'm sure, you know, I don't want to speak for my fellow board members, but I'm sure they're happy to hear of the update regarding those outstanding items. Just before we move along, I would like to make note that board member Jennifer Solis did join the meeting at 6:05 this evening for the record. So just an item of note, if the city can make note of that. And at this time, following Mr. Lewis's testimony, I'd like to motion and open the floor for board discussion. If any board members have any questions for Mr. Lewis, the floor is yours. Vice Chair Byrne.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate what you said, Chair. To really thank Mr. Lewis for taking this seriously and helping out the former tenant. I think that's a really good thing that you've done.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, as chair of the board, I would like to just call out Mr. Lewis and commend him for going above and beyond what he was required to do. As we know, you know, he purchased a property vacant, inherited an unfortunate situation, but given, you know, the opportunity, he rose to the occasion and did right by the former tenants, and I think you know, provided goodwill, and for that you should be commended. So thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you. Just trying to be good neighbors and give back to the communities that we're investing in and that we're going to be active members in long term. And Deb was very kind and gracious in our conversations, and 40 years is an eternity to live somewhere. So I certainly empathized with her situation.
No, you should be commended. So thank you very much. Any
Thanks.
other commentary or questions for Mr. Lewis from the board?
We can say thank you because as he went very, very far and to get those guys and comply. And as we said, these certain things he doesn't need to do them, but he did it. That's we appreciate that. And then hopefully everything will be fine for you.
Right.
Good luck. Yes.
Thank you, board member Simeon. Board member Solis, anything?
Similar sentiments as to what's been expressed, very much appreciated, and definitely recognition that it's that you've gone above and beyond. So it's great to hear. And wishing you, success in this venture.
I think we can all agree.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, with no more questions or comments from the board, we will now close the floor discussion and open up the public commenting period for 2123 Kent Court. If anyone in the virtual audience would like to speak in favor or against this application, now would be the time to do so.
I don't see any hands.
All right. With that, public commenting period is closed for 21-23 Kent Court. With the commentary from the applicant, I think we all feel that it's appropriate to move this application along in the process. And I'm prepared to make a motion for a conditional vote on approval this evening on the condition that the two outstanding items yet to be submitted to city staff, which is the master deed and engineer's report, are submitted at a future date. So on that note, Miranda, if you can please conduct a roll call vote for the preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1, 2, and 3 at 21-23 Kent Court.
Okay, this is a vote for a preliminary rental conversion permit for units 1, 2, and 3 at 21-23 Kent Court, conditioned as Chair Zasloff just said. Chair Zasloff,
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Solis,
Yes.
the motion passes.
Thank you again, Mr. Lewis, and look forward to working with you again in the future if you continue to do business in Somerville. You've shown a commitment to the community, so thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, Chair.
All right, moving along. Next item of business for the board is the application of 19 Fenwick Street, LLC, Kevin Brett, seeking a preliminary rental conversion permits for units. A final conversion permit for units 2, 3, and 4. Do I have that correct, Marina?
Yep, a preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1 and final rental conversion permits for units 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Do we have the applicant?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Mark Sheehan of Adam Dash and Associates, attorney for 19 Fenwick Street LLC. My client is seeking a preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1 and a final conversion permit for units 2, 3, and 4 of this multifamily residence. The property has been vacant during my client's ownership, and prior to that, units 2, 3, and 4 were owner occupied. We have submitted the complete application, paid fine or water bill, certificate of good standing, affidavit from the prior owner, proof of residential exemption, property condition report, master deed, and a bank check payable to the city of Somerville for $2,400. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. On that note, I will now make a motion to open the floor for board discussion. If any of the board members have questions or commentary for the applicant? All right, seeing there's no discussion, we'll now motion to close the floor for board discussion. Make a motion to open the public commenting period. If anyone in the virtual audience would like to speak in favor or against the application of 19 Fenwick Street, now would be the time to do so.
I don't see any hands.
All right, public commenting period is closed. In reviewing the application, we have all outstanding items in hand. So at this time, I am prepared to make a motion for the board to vote on a final conversion permit for units 2, 3, and 4 located at 19 Fenwick Street, and a preliminary conversion permit for unit 1 with a 1-year waiting period. Should we do that as one? I'm sorry, Marina, if I could just ask, could we do that as one vote or 2 votes?
Maybe let's do it at 2. As 2.
That's what I was
just to-
thinking. 'Cause
yeah.
it felt awkward there.
Yeah.
So let's take the first vote for the final conversion permit. So motion for the board to vote on a final conversion permits for units 2, 3, and 4 located at 19 Fenwick Street.
Okay, this is a vote for final conversion permits for units 2, 3, and 4 at 19 Fenwick Street. Chair Zasloff,
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Solis,
Yes.
the motion passes.
All right, thank you. And now I will make a motion for the board to vote on a preliminary conversion permit on the condition that unit 1 stays vacant for 1 year, located at 19 Fenwick Street.
Sorry, Chair Zasloff, the unit doesn't have to remain vacant, though if they do rent it, they have to notify tenants that the unit is being converted. It just has the 1-year notice period to the board, but it doesn't have to remain vacant.
Okay, so there's no
Sorry.
conditions with the preliminary then, I guess.
The condition is that it has a 1-year notice period to the board.
Okay,
So if you want to restate the motion, then
okay, we'll try this one more time. Motion to vote on a preliminary conversion permit for unit 1 located at 19 Fenwick, on the condition that the 1-year notice period, if rented, is adhered to.
No.
No,
no. So the 1-year note, I think it would be a preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1, conditioned with a 1-year notice period to the board, which will expire 1 year from, or maybe not say that, just with the condition that it has a 1-year notice period to the board. I think that makes it as simple as possible.
all right, we'll try it for third time makes a charm. Motion to vote on a preliminary conversion permit for unit 1 located at 19 Fenwick, conditioned with a 1-year notice period to the board.
Yes. All right. Chair Zasloff.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. This is a motion for a preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1 at 19 Fenwick Street with a 1-year notice period to the board. Chair Zasloff.
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne.
Yes.
Board Member Simeon.
Yes.
Board Member Solis.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
No problem at all.
All right, moving through the agenda. Next application from the board is 28 Brook Street LLC. And that is Keith Fallon, and he's seeking a preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit 1 and 2 at 28 Brook Street.
Hi, this is Keith Fallon. I'm the owner of 28 Brook Street. Purchased this property about a year ago, and both units were owner occupied prior to me purchasing it.
Can you just go through the items that you've submitted so far in the application process?
I submitted all the documentation that Marina required, the check, proof of residency, the affidavit certifying that it was owner occupied. I think that's about it. Whatever Marina asked me for, I submitted to her.
Yeah, and we also have the water bill, final water bill
Correct.
paid, and we also quit claim deed, and we have a check in the amount of $1,200 to cover.
Yes, thank you.
The 2 units in question. All right, on that note, I will motion open the floor for board discussion regarding the application 28 Brook Street. If there's any commentary or questions for the applicant.
No questions.
All right, seeing there's no discussion, motion to close the floor and make a motion to open the public commenting period. If anyone in the virtual audience would like to speak in favor or against the application 28 Brook Street for unit 1 and 2, now would be the time to do so.
I don't see any hands.
All right, public commenting period for 28 Brook Street is now closed. In reviewing the application, we have the final water bill paid, we have the quit claim deed, we have the check in the amount of $1,200, we have the affidavit for units 1 and 2. At this time, we are still missing the master deed and engineer's report. So I'm prepared to make a motion for the board to vote on a conditional preliminary rental permit on the condition that the master deed and engineer's report is provided to city staff at a future date.
Sorry, Chair Zaslav, did you say rental or non-rental?
I will state it again for the record. At this time, make a motion for the board to vote on a preliminary non-rental conversion permit for units 1 and 2 located at 28 Brook Street on the condition that the master deed and engineer architect report is submitted to city staff at a future date.
Okay, this is a vote for preliminary non-rental conversion permits for units 1 and 2 at 28 Brook Street, conditioned as Chair Zaslav just stated. Chair Zaslav,
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Solis,
Yes.
the motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Absolutely. Thank you. Moving along, we have one final application from the board this evening, and that is the application of Maria Deslandis. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the last name, who's seeking a preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1 at 159 Walnut Street.
Yes, we are here.
Yeah, we're both here.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Yeah, Caio Deslandis.
Maria Deslandes.
Okay. And you are seeking a preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1, is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct. And we believe that we introduced all the documentation necessary. And we thank the board for the consideration.
Okay. In reviewing the application, I see we have a final water bill paid. We have the quitclaim deed, and we have a check in the amount of $600. At this time, we are still missing the master deed and the engineer's report. So at this time, I will open the floor for make a motion to open the floor for discussion amongst the board.
Yes. We're sorry. We understood we are to send that after we do the preliminary. We're supposed to send the papers after, no?
The master deed in the engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine if you submit it at a future date.
Yeah, we have an architect coming over this weekend. We already made the appointment. He's going to come on Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So at this time, I'll motion to open the floor for board discussion. I know this application dates back to pre-2019. So I'm not sure if there's discussion amongst the board or any clarification that anyone's looking for. But they are outside the current ordinance with their application.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean we out of the ordinance?
But you're grandfathered in, so
Oh yeah, for the other two, yeah.
Maria, if you can just please hold your commentary until you're called upon.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So the floor is now open amongst the board. If there's any discussion, Morena?
Chair Zaslav, I just wanted to make a quick clarification. The pre-2019 applications are for units 2 and 3. So unit 1 is under this current ordinance, just to clarify a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
I have no questions.
Anyone else? No questions?
No
comments?
question.
All right. We'll move along. We'll close the floor for board discussion, make a motion to open the public commenting period for 159 Walnut Street, Unit 1. Anyone in the virtual audience like to speak in favor or against this application? Now would be the time to do so.
I don't see any hands.
Okay. Very good. Public commenting period is now closed. And on that note, I seeing there's no further discussion, I will now make a motion for the board to vote on a conditional preliminary rental conversion permit for unit 1, located at 159 Walnut Street, on the condition that the master deed and engineer's report is submitted at a future date to city staff.
Okay, this is a vote for a preliminary rental conversion permit for Unit 1 at 159 Walnut Street, conditioned as Chair Zaslav just stated. Chair Zaslav,
Yes.
Vice Chair Byrne,
Yes,
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Solis,
Yes.
the motion passes.
Thank you very much.
We thank you guys very much for your precision.
You have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you. And on that note, that concludes the applications in front of the board this evening. I will now make a motion to adjourn the meeting if I can get a second.
I second it.
All right,
Nice job, Zach.
the meeting is adjourned. I struggled through the last two, but, you know.
It's good. It's all good.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Yeah.
night.
You too.
Thank
too.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.